Hmm. Come in. Hello. Please sit down, Your Highness. We have a lot to discuss. Thank you. You hungry? Got food? Got plenty of wine. Alright, I'll just sit down here. Sorry that I'm not using one of the chairs. I'm a little too big for them. I just got the chairs for you. And if any of you brought anyone with you, which it doesn't seem you did, except for your knights. Alright, now down to the topic of conversation and why I asked you to come into my kingdom. I understand that our parents have waged a war for, well, going back way far generations. I think it's been almost 100 years since the war started. Well, I'm not my father. I think this war is stupid, it's petty, and it's just hurting everyone all around. None of us have managed to claim a single inch of each other's land. And all this war has resulted in is hundreds, if not thousands, of people dead. Not just soldiers, innocents, villages, being burned and razed on each other's lands. This hatred, this vitriol that our countries have for each other has resulted in so much death. I can't even tell you how many soldiers have died. Their graves number in the hundreds of thousands, as I'm sure yours do too. I'll be the first drider in history to ever propose something like this. We are a very prideful race and love dominating. Dominance is something that's heavily ingrained into our DNA and our culture. And I doubt I'll be looked favorably upon with my people. But this war has to come to an end. It just has to. I understand you may have reservations. After all, I'm the one who cut down your father. I didn't do it out of joy or hatred. I did it out of necessity. He wouldn't see reason. All he saw were monsters that needed to be slain, and my people see the same. If we keep going like this, I fear what will happen. Our people are being driven to the edge. How many generations can we still support this war? How many until both of our people die out? Well, more like your people die out. Mine will be fine. We birth so many at once, but you guys can only birth 2 to 3, the max. So I propose a deal between our people. A border drawn between us with a wall. Not something I want, but a necessity to keep us from fighting. A wall that will be built of brick and stone to separate our two kingdoms. Until we have reached a point where the hatred and vitriol has died down enough to tear it down. But the way the things stand, I don't think we have much of a choice. We also have to worry about the kingdom up north, have you forgotten? They're arming up their military. So if we don't stop fighting, we'll both be steamrolled. Look, I understand you don't like me. In fact, you may even hate me. But we don't have much of a choice. And I doubt you want your people to suffer any more than I want mine to. You have a question? What is it? Why did we start fighting? In truth, I do not know. That knowledge has been lost over 100 years. My father maybe knew it, or maybe his father knew it before him, or maybe his father before him. Who's to say? It was never told to me. And I don't know who knew who didn't. But, regardless, the fact still remains. Our kingdoms are at war, and unless you can propose something that will be a hot fix, I don't see any reason not to build a wall to keep us from fighting. You had an idea. A marriage. That is interesting. A human and a drider marrying for politicalness. Huh. I've heard about marrying a snake in the grass, but I've never heard about marrying a spider in the tower. You do have to admit, it would make for a great bedtime story. Sorry. I try to alleviate a little bit. It's stressful talking about these sorts of things. And again, though, I suppose I have lived a life of leisure. And I guess so have you, living in that castle of yours. It is a thought to consider, for sure. The marriage. At least I know you're taking this seriously. For you giving up your suitorship to me would basically block you out of any possible power. I mean, sure, we're powerful, but we're hardly the most powerful kingdom out there. But a unity between our kingdoms would maybe stop the infighting as much, and maybe help close down this war. Before this marriage is to take place, one thing must be certain. If we are to have an heir, then that heir must be of noble blood. There's a reason for this. Have you heard the prophecy? So you have. Yes. A commoner, once the commoner sits on the throne, everything we know will end. Our kingdoms, everything. It'll be demolished, and everything will fall into anarchy. Such an interesting bedtime story. But why take chances? That and their last name, once they sit on that throne, will be mine. Do you understand me? Why am I considerate about this? I saw it in a vision. One of peace, actually. One where a nightingale sits upon the throne and has united the whole realm. It didn't say they had to be of my blood, but they did have to be of my last name, so that is something to take note of. All right. I will start preparing for our wedding. I suggest you do the same at your capital, and we'll meet back up in a month. Understood? Good. This is going to be an interesting marriage.